Why do people recover via something as a diet? Let's dive into this together. So, first of all, I think it's something that I can share right now is that the typical mind body symptoms, such as the fatigue, the grogginess, the brain fog, the pain, the vertigo, the nausea, the depression, the migraine, they are not caused by a fatty liver. So, you can have a fatty liver, which can be the result of a very bad diet or being an alcoholic, for example. But the symptoms that come from a fatty diet are different. They are not as extreme as mind body symptoms. And you can have both, but you can also heal from both. Because if a bad diet caused chronic fatigue syndrome, I would have never had chronic fatigue syndrome because I had an amazing diet. I was eating healthy, yet at the same time, I started to get all kinds of intolerances. My stool was very bad, and it became harder and harder for me to digest food. So, why is that? And first of all, there are people that recover from diet. For example, James, I used to follow him a little bit. That was in my end days of having chronic fatigue syndrome. And I must say, I was so extremely jealous that he could recover on a diet, probably the diet that I tried before having chronic fatigue syndrome. Yeah, but it didn't work for me. And in the beginning, I still put diet as something important. So when I started this YouTube channel in 2017 was basically about my journey. And then in 2019 to talk about recovery, I shared a lot about diets. I removed everything because I don't think it's important. I think that you could heal on junk food. And I healed on junk food because I put so much stress into my diet. And I'm not saying that this stress is the reason that I had chronic fatigue syndrome, but it felt just amazing to just let go of that, to deep fry some food, to buy the oil, put it in a deep fryer, put all kinds of junk in there, and to really enjoy that. That felt really good. And I noticed that I started feeling better in that period. But following a protocol can give you a form of safety. If you need safety, then you are in a place of danger. So your body is completely full of fear. And if I tell you what to do, then you might feel safe. And maybe because I've got some authority right now, following my advice, even though it's complete bullshit, will make you feel a little bit better because now you're putting in the effort. Now you're putting in the work. Everything will become better. The anxiety winds down and you start actually improving despite, despite the things that you're doing. So many of the complaints from like irritable bowel syndrome and poor digestion are caused by stress. But what kind of stress? Sometimes these are just the natural consequence of being in the fight or flight mode for a longer period of time. Because when you are in the fight or flight mode, digestion is just not important because that's coming in the rest and digest phase. You can almost hear it. So then you weaken your digestive organs. But there is also another reason. An emotion could attach itself to an organ. And when that is the case, the organs start malfunctioning just a little bit. Maybe you already notice from POTS when the emotion lies on the heart, but the emotion can just as easily lie on the liver or in the gut. And luckily, it's so easy to release those emotions. Because with a mind body symptom, your entire body is in a conspiracy to not make you feel the emotion. But when the emotion is already on your organ, you might already feel a pressure, in your belly or on your heart or in your lungs. It's much easier to feel it, and that means much easier to release it. And then your digestion can improve itself immediately. But also when you wind down the stress response that you probably have because you're in a state of resistance towards the emotion. That's a mouthful. Then calming down after that by feeling the emotion through will allow the body to restore itself. Maybe you become really heavy, and then the body can just repair itself. So that's also a reason. I think it was one day after my recovery interview with Raylan that someone from the hospital called me. They were looking into blood results of people with unexplained symptoms or conditions. and he looked at mine and he asked me whether I was an alcoholic or not because my liver was fat, a fatty liver, and it was like I was drinking a lot of alcohol, but I wasn't. So then I asked the man, "Well, I'm not really drinking alcohol, like nothing actually. Is there anything that you could do for me in this situation?" And he said, like, "Well, no, I would just advise you to eat healthy." But yeah, so there was another reason why I had a fatty liver. And I discovered that in the years after that when I had to do releases every day just in order to be alive and to function. It's that the emotion on the liver is making sure that the liver doesn't function very well. And that emotion is usually anger. So by processing this anger, my liver had more room, and then it could slowly repair itself. I think that our liver can regenerate itself completely. I don't know in what time frame, but now it's already a few years later, and I'm feeling absolutely amazing. I think there's nothing wrong with my liver, and it's the emotional healing that did it. If you feel like you would like to join us in the release program, the release community, I would be more than honored to be a part of your healing journey, and I hope to see you there. Have a beautiful healing journey.